Welcome to the Truth Serum Football with your hosts, Joey and Jordan, the guys who bring you fantasy football advice so good when you win your league, it'll feel like you cheated.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Truth Serum. I'm Joey.
What's up, babies? I'm Jordan.
And we got a special guest today, Zack Zander from Uncencored Football. What the fuck is up, Zach?
Oh, man, what is happening? I'm on the Truth Serum, man. I'm going to be telling the truth, I promise, man. I never tell a lie. I'm Honest Abe up in this bitch.
Hell yeah.
You little cursor, you. Yeah, today we're going to be doing values at your draft. We're going to be talking about players that we have ranked higher than where they're being drafted. These players are being slept on by everyone. We're going to drop some knowledge on your asses today, baby.
Yeah, we are.
Mm-hmm. So before we get started, Zach, let's tell us about yourself, man. Quick introduction. You're going to get the beginning of the podcast, the more flavorful spot. You know, people don't cut out halfway in between because we're talking about booties and titties and shit. So
big old hitties.
Well, man, that's what keeps people entertained. Are you kidding me? Hundreds and fifties and big fat titties, man. Seriously.
Yeah, count the green, get in between, baby. I'm with it.
Hey, I'm in my mid-30s. I'm from Canton, Ohio, born and raised, and it is the Hall of Fame city, man. So I was baptized in football from Canton, seriously, and I got a podcast. Me and my boys started in April. It's just up and coming, but, man, we go hard. We work as hard as you guys work and anybody else in this industry. We love it, man. We get down with it, and we have a little bit of flavor. That's why I like you boys. I feel like you're my Southern twins or something, man. You guys get down, and I like your style, and that's why I'm here today.
Hell yeah.
Uncencored Football, Canton, Ohio. We put it down. Hit us up on Twitter, uncensored_FB, Instagram, uncensored_FB. Hit us on YouTube, all the podcasts, man. We get down. We work hard, almost as hard as you boys.
Hell yeah. Well, you say you're from Canton, Ohio, and that's the Hall of Fame city, which brings me straight to our next point. While we're at it, Hall of Fame city, why don't we go ahead and thank these motherfucking Patreons, baby? We're going to start the list off with Zack Zander, not Hall of Famer. Patrick Johnston, Clit Collins, I said Clit. I meant Clint. I'm sorry.
Big Clit Collins, baby.
But you are what you eat, baby. And speaking of Jeff Beavers, you are what you eat. We got Mike Pineacker, what you call me, Rob Johnson, Brandon Rios, Cadillac Casing, Dylon. What you say after that, Jordan? I don't remember.
Hot fire, Dylon, baby, Dylon Maliska. We got Captain Kirk Davenport, James Miller, my favorite Blaha, Daniel Blaha. We got Jeff Wallace, Steady Trevetti, Close the Deal Manil, Steady T, whatever you want to call him, the man of a million nicknames. We got my favorite Blaha, West Blaha. We got Chris Hauk, we got Tax Benjamin, and we got Hall of Fame Rob Dawson.
We got Freddie Dallas, Freddie Lavelle, Michael Truax, Josh Machino, Josh Hickman, Chris Leach, Dwight Kofroff, Ben Kaiser, Tyler Tompkins,
Colleague.
And we got my favorite pal, Jeremy Powell. Thank you guys, Patreons, setting us up for success, baby. Thank you.
Hell
guys.
yeah. We appreciate all you guys, and anybody wants to get their name read on the air with them, all you got to do is bump up to that legend tier at least, y'all. So let's do it.
Hell yeah. And Zack Zander, that goes for you too. If you want your name, Zack Zander from Uncencored Football, every single time we record a podcast, that's how you do it, baby. Patreon.com/Truth Serum Football.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. We always spend a lot of time doing that, but damn it, it's so fun. I love you guys.
It's all about the listeners, man. It's all about the people that it's why you do this. You just don't want to talk to the wall. You want people to actually listen when you're talking, and it's you got to give them the respect. I love that. I'm gonna start doing that myself. You want to take care of your fans and your favorites.
For real, man, for real. And those guys, you take care of them, they'll take care of you. And, we came on today and you were like, man, you guys are killing it in the slots and yada, yada. Honestly, man, the slots are great, but these guys are really what carry us, to do everything we've been doing. So thank you, motherfuckers, for sure.
We love all y'all motherfuckers. All right, so let's go ahead with this values at the draft, baby. So let's start it off. You want to start with the quarterbacks? How we gonna do this? Because we are
let's start off with the quarterbacks. Yet. Who's your biggest value at quarterback this year, Joey Fickle?
Hell, I don't know. You ain't got these damn quarterback rankings up here. I could pull them up, but I don't know.
Maybe you act like I have them pulled up every week. You go off top of the dome usually. Come on now.
True story. So I'm looking at the late round quarterbacks anyways. Here's a value for you. Say gross, whatever, but Tyrod fucking Taylor. Tyrod Taylor is being undrafted right now, and frankly, he's a guy that I think is going to start at least, 6 weeks. This is a guy that is as mobile as any quarterback in the NFL outside of Lamar Jackson. This is a guy who he's been efficient. Why do we think that the rookie quarterback during COVID season is going to come in and take snaps from him immediately? I like this guy's ability to fucking run the ball, man. And that's what it's about when you're playing fantasy football. Your quarterback's got to have rushing ability, right?
You're right. And, we always kind of go back and forth on this. I like my traditional pocket passers. So the guy that I'm looking at, man, I had him last year. I had him the year before that and the year before that. I've had a share of this dude since like 1827. I'm talking about old man Philip Rivers. Right now, you can get Philip Rivers really late in the draft. If he's drafted at all, I think he has a chance to throw for 300 yards every single week in that Indianapolis offense. I don't think he'll do it every single week, but I'm saying the upside is there. I think the offense is there, and Philip Rivers has produced year in and year out. Right now, I think you're getting a quarterback that can pop inside the top 10 this season, and I think you're getting him very late in the draft, if at all. So he's a guy I'm drafting with confidence. What you got to say, Zack Zander?
He ain't got to say shit because his microphone.
Yo.
There he is.
Hey, man, old man Rivers. I was stunned. I was speechless. Old man Rivers. Old 37 kids and 2 reconstructed knees. I mean, I don't know. To me, I choose a guy like Daniel Jones, who is in Fantasy Pros right now going as the 16th quarterback, which isn't as late as probably Tyrod Taylor or maybe even Philip Rivers, but we're talking about a guy that has some wheels, has some weapons on the outside, a healthy Saquon Barkley. Are you kidding? This guy's ready to be a monster too. They drafted some offensive line. Daniel Jones in his 12 games last year went for 24 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, had a couple big games, a couple not so big games. If he can work on consistency, hey, that defense is going to make him throw the ball a lot. I mean, that defense is terrible. Can you name 2 good players on the defense? I don't think so. So Daniel Jones is going to have to be running for his life, throwing it to Golden Tate, Darius Slade, and Evan Ingram. They got some weapons, but the defense is going to keep that team throwing in the second half.
Hell yeah, I love it. And, I'm an NFC East guy. I'm a Cowboys fan through and through. And I don't think I can name 2 players on the New York Giants defense, period, baby. So great take on that for sure. I feel like I got to defend myself on Philip Rivers just a little bit. Philip Rivers is coming off as the 22nd quarterback off the board. I think at that round, you have the chance. It's the sheer floor. I love the Daniel Jones pick for the ceiling, though.
Yeah, I have.
Fuck Tyrod Taylor.
I have Philip Rivers at number 17. So, yeah, he's a value for me as well. I think this Colts team is a dark horse to make a deep playoff run, man. They got the best offensive line in the NFL. That's according to, Fantasy Pros from last year. So I know it's very hard to predict how good offensive lines are going to be, but this is clearly the best offensive line he's ever played for. And this is a guy that's not scared to throw the fucking ball. So with them adding Jonathan Taylor, a guy who I think is going to be a fucking monster, this offense should be productive. And they got weapons. T.Y. Hilton. They got Paris Campbell, who's a gadget player. We didn't get to see play last year because of an ankle injury. They drafted what's his fucking name? Mike Williams Jr. So yeah, there's some
Michael Pittman.
Michael Pittman. There you go.
See, I'm not in love with those weapons. See, you
don't have to be though, because
I might fade it a little bit. We're talking T.Y. Hilton, who, if this man can stay on the field, I love what he does when he's on the field. Paris Campbell was kind of a bust. Jack Doyle doesn't make anybody's dick hard at tight end, really. So it's a power run team to me. Yeah, it's a power run offensive line. It's a power run team. It's Marlon Mack. It's Jonathan Taylor. Nyheim Hines is going to be the third down back. So maybe he can become the Eckler that Phillip Rivers was, he was peppering targets to last year.
Yep.
Michael Pittman, I didn't love coming out of the draft. I actually thought he was overdrafted a little bit. I know a lot of people love Michael Pittman. A lot of people love Michael Pittman, but he won the Biletnikoff Award last year. But I didn't love his tape. He doesn't create a ton of separation. He's a good jump ball guy, which that can work one way or the other. I don't hate Phillip. I love this guy. He's a Hall of Famer. I just, he had a ton of chances last year to win some games, and he was throwing picks at the end of games. I know the offensive line was kind of trashy, but I think he lost it, guys. But I'm a little bit lower on my list.
You ain't gonna sit there and act like you just didn't say Phillip Rivers is a Hall of Famer.
Is he not?
I see
Dan Fouts is in the fucking Hall of Fame with those.
Yeah,
stats.
dude. So I get down with it, and this is a debate that Joey and I had. It's one of the very first articles we wrote, and it's on Eli Manning and whether he was a Hall of Famer. To me, smash, first ballot without a shadow of a doubt. Phillip Rivers is the same fucking player minus the 2 Super Bowl rings. I think what Joey will argue is their peak, them at their height. They were never, top 5 guys in the league, It's that they're the steady, consistent guys over a period of time, the Frank Gores, if you will. So I can kind of see both sides. But to me, Phillip Rivers, fucking Hall of Famer. I agree with you, bro.
We're definitely going to talk about this later on. We're going to talk about this on Uncencored Football. You can find that anywhere you listen to podcasts as well. But for right now, we're going to keep it moving, baby. I'm going to talk about some Baker Mayfield. I think he is an excellent value. What's his ADP right now? I currently have him at quarterback number 12. This guy is a post-hype sleeper. We're all on his dick last year, right? Weren't you? Yep. Weren't you, Zach?
Yeah. I thought it was going to be nice.
Yeah, everyone fucking did, but it didn't go well. So a lot of times I'm super early. I'm 1 year early on a guy. Sit back and think about what has changed in this offense, man. You got a new offensive coordinator, coach that can – efficiency is his fucking middle name, bro. Like, he's going to come in this year. Everything's going to fall back into place. They address the offensive line. They still got all the weapons they had last year. Austin Hooper added. He's not my favorite, but is a guy that can get open in the fucking zone mid and sit down and catch a pass. So why not put your chips all back in on Baker Mayfield? Nothing has changed with him. The offensive line was his problem last year. We got his ADP because I do not.
It looks like quarterback 14 off the board on Fantasy Pros. That's right around where I have him. I have him at 17. But you made some great points. Austin Hooper. They bring in the new offensive, the new coach, from the Vikings, Stefanski, and they run the ball. So I'm a little bit worried. How many chances is this guy going to get to really score fantasy stats? They have Chubb. They have this great offensive line now. They have Kareem fucking Hunt. As long as he's not kicking anybody in the head, why would this guy throw the ball more than 24 times in a game? To me, Baker, best-case scenario for the Cleveland Browns. And my partner, Brad Russell, he's a Cleveland Browns fanatic, worked in Northeast Ohio in the radio, so he knows his Browns, and he had an epic rant last week on the podcast about Baker Mayfield being top 12, and I shunned him. I'm like, this dude's not – they're not going to let this fucking dude throw the ball around enough to be a top 12 quarterback because he doesn't have to. Hand the ball to Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. They drafted a top 10 offensive lineman. They signed Jack Conklin. They have a top 10 offensive line. Austin Hooper can block, y'all. They got two good tight ends. Jarvis Landry and Odell, go out there, and they're going to be wide open one-on-one coverage. The team's going to be nice. I see them actually making the fucking playoffs, but I don't see a ton of stats. I see his ceiling is 2019 Kirk Cousins, and that was about 3,600 yards, 26 touchdowns. So is that a quarterback 12? I don't think so. I think that's a mid-tier 2.
You ready to make your first hat bet, baby? I guarantee you he throws for more than 3,600 yards. The point here is efficiency with the run game, with Stefanski. Like, he's set up to succeed here. The play action is going to hit, and you know that. And you're drafting him as the quarterback, would you say 16, 17 ADP? Quarterback 14, we'll call it that. At that point in the draft, like if I'm in a single quarterback league, I'm drafting one quarterback anyways. So why not take a shot on a guy? I say his ceiling is the number 2 quarterback in the NFL. That's his ceiling.
In fantasy?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, but we talked about the running backs. Stefanski in Minnesota, I mean, he ran the shit out of Dalvin Cook, and then Madison came in and let him take a breather. And they feature the running backs in a Stefanski offense. Plus, the defense is pretty solid. Myles Garrett's not smashing anybody over the head with anything. They're going to be pretty damn good on defense. And they're probably going to, when Baker gets a little bit loose, those interceptions start coming. And I don't think they want him to get that loose. And I don't see that type of ceiling. Because I think it's going to be a power run team. I mean, they'd be stupid not to. Nick Chubb. Whew.
I'm not comparing it, but if you want to look back to last year, the 2019 Baltimore Ravens were a power running team, and it produced the number 1 quarterback in the NFL as far as fantasy points total, fantasy points per game. Now, I'm not comparing him because the athleticism, the mobile ability is nowhere close. But I could see a solid Patrick Mahomes type year out of him with 400 type passing yards. I'm not projecting that. I think it's a possibility. I think you need to open your eyes a little bit. I love your points that you're making. Hey, it's okay to be stoned. It's okay to be drunk. I drink enough of this damn truth serum. I will talk to the wall instead of my fans, like you was talking about earlier. So, I get all of your points. I'm just saying, I think you're saying that the ceiling is quarterback 10, 12. The ceiling is number 2 for me. And at quarterback 14 off the board, I think it's worth a gamble there.
Yeah, I think Baker is absolutely worth a gamble. And truth be told, in most drafts I do, even though the consensus and the ADP is in that range, I feel like he gets drafted earlier than that 9 times out of 10. But I do think he has a ton of upside. I also think Kareem Hunt is somebody that can catch passes to a degree that I don't think we've seen Madison or Dalvin Cook be able to do. So I think I tend to lean with Joey on that, even though I hate that guy because he went to the University of Oklahoma. But man, I love you bringing the heat on the Baker Mayfield and telling Joey, where you think he's wrong. One thing that you did say that I've been kind of trying to scream from the rooftops is Jack Conklin's really fucking good at football, and I think he is absolutely going to help out this offense. And I think Nick Chubb, we'll probably get to him in a little bit, but man, I think that guy's being underdrafted right now because I think he can absolutely produce behind that offensive line in that offense. So who else you got at the quarterback position since Joey took off for a minute?
Yeah, I guess he has something better to do. No worries. I'm going to go down the line a little bit to a guy that is on a shitty team. I mean, a pathetic team. And you're going to say, Zach, what the fuck are you thinking bringing up a guy on the worst team in the NFL? And that's going to be Sam Darnold. And the team is terrible around him. Even though they drafted Mekhi Becton as a left tackle, the rest of the line sucks. Le'Veon Bell's washed up. They bring in bum-ass Brashard Perryman. I like Denzel Mims. Jamison Crowder's okay. Chris Herndon. They have subpar weapons on the offense, but this team is so goddamn pathetic. He is going to have to be running around for his life in the third and fourth quarter. And guess what? Sometimes you can get some garbage points doing that. I mean, really, when they're down by 30 points, they're playing prevent defense, letting Sam Darnold maybe dink and dunk, getting an extra touchdown. I'm not calling for a top 10 season, but I think week to week, Sam Darnold, if you're trying to stream him or bye week or somebody gets hurt, Darnold has the upside to give you a high ceiling because they're going to have to be throwing the ball around in the third and fourth quarter. They're just goddamn pathetic.
So I love that. I loved all of that. And I'm not even going to fight you on it. I'm just going to dig a little bit deeper down into the trash bin, down below Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's the 25th ranked quarterback on Fantasy Pros. I'm looking at the 28th fantasy quarterback on Fantasy Pros, and that's my boy Gardner Minshew, the Gotna himself, man. So I think Minshew absolutely has some upside as a streaming quarterback this season, kind of like you were saying with Darnold. Kind of the same script, man. Horrible ass team all around him. He's going to be running for his life. The thing about Minshew is, though, he can run a little bit, man. He finishes the 4th overall quarterback in rushing yards last season, only played in 12 games. He had, I believe, 5 quarterback 1 weeks last season. So he does have DJ Chark. They have a connection. I think that's better than any weapon that the Jets have. And I think Gardner Minshew is going to have some really good spike weeks this season. You just got to catch him at the right time.
Hell yeah. Can I just say one more, because I did finally look at the ADP versus my rankings. I don't want to go into depth with it, but I just want to say this guy was a top 5 quarterback during the last half of the season last year. Ryan Fitzpatrick is being thrown to the wolves because they drafted Tua Tagovailoa. Tua ain't going to start but about 4 games this year, and I just know that gunslinging ass old man, he's not going to be the 30th ranked quarterback this year.
I'm going to say this, man. He might be the 22nd ranked quarterback and only play 6 games. Tua's going to get 10. I think I said 8 on the last podcast, but news has come out that he's healthy. He's ready to go. I think Tua's going to start sooner rather than later, and that makes me want to avoid Fitzmagic at all costs.
I don't think so. They got an early season, very likable schedule as well. So no one really expects, this Dolphins team to do much anyways. Everyone's going to be chanting, oh, yeah, that's right. They're not going to be anybody in the stadium.
They aren't going to be chanting anyway. Get real.
They ain't going to be chanting for Tua, but I'm just saying, I think that if you're in a very, very deep 2-quarterback league, hey, throw some Ryan Fitzpatrick on that bench, dog. You will not be disappointed.
I mean, I'm staying away from him too. I'm gonna side with Jordan, and it's not because of Tua. I don't see Tua coming until maybe possibly week 9 or 10. Why get this guy hurt? Until they're out of the playoffs, they're not going to throw Tua out there, even though he is the number 1 selling jersey in America right now. Get that Tua Tagovailoa jersey. It's hot. But Ryan Fitzpatrick is gonna do some things that just stay on the field, but I can't get behind it in fantasy just because it's Ryan Fitzpatrick, and it's every time you think he's gonna blow up, and he throws 5 interceptions, and then he comes out of nowhere and it goes for 404, and he's on my bench or he's on the free agent wire, and I'm pissed. But he's a great story. The fucking beard from Harvard, looks like a biker, but has a college education. So the guy's nuts. The Miami Dolphins are one of the biggest question marks from me. All my instincts tell me that they're going to fucking suck. My brain's telling me, hey, they signed all these free agents that are like, B- free agents. The draft, they drafted Tua, and then they got a lineman, and I didn't love what they did in the fucking draft really either. I thought they could have did a lot more with what they had. I thought they could set themselves up for a powerhouse run for the next 4 or 5 years, and they did the right thing in Tua. After that, I didn't really love everything else, so who knows? But in just fantasy, it doesn't make me too excited about old
I'm
man
not
Ryan.
saying I'm excited about it. I'm saying in a 16-team, 2-quarterback league, there's worse options.
And I mean, dude, he has
a
one of the
16-team league. Yeah, he's gonna be. Hey, man, he's going in the 3rd round. That's gonna be on my dick all sorts of hard in a 16-team, 2-quarterback league. I didn't know we were getting down like that.
Woo! Woo!
But
So he does have that elite wide receiver option in Devontae Parker, right?
Hell yeah.
we're going elite.
Yeah, dude, I fucking hate Devontae Parker.
We're going elite.
Joey loves it though.
It's going to be Preston Williams coming back. Let's see what the knee injury is. Devontae Parker, that's 2 big guys on the outside. Mike Gesicki's one of my favorite late-round sleeping tight ends, so I'm sure we'll get to that later. But they got some weapons. It's just it's blah. It doesn't get me too excited.
It is blah. I get it, man. I didn't want to go into it this deep, but dog, I'm having a blast doing this shit right now. Let's talk about some running backs. Why don't we? We got to start off with David Montgomery, right? Don't we? This guy's being faded in every draft I see. I got him right now at 21. Dude, let me see real quick. I'm so sorry. I ain't super prepared here.
It's all right. It's just Zach. It's just Zach from Canton, man. He ain't nobody. We don't got to prepare for him.
Dude, I'm not prepared for any of these. I'm like from the dome every time. He's being drafted right now as the running back 25. I got him at 21, so not too much, but I do think that he is being slept on. This guy has got a clear path for 280 touches. Can anyone argue that?
I can't argue that. My only argument, I am a David Montgomery fader myself. I get it. Nothing that you are saying is right, but man, I'm not looking for 12.5 points per game from my RB2 at all. You know what I mean? So I just don't love the player. I don't think he is anybody that gets me excited. But yeah, the fucking opportunity's there. Absolutely.
Hell yeah. Who you got?
If the fucking opportunity is there, then fuck them, right? David Montgomery, this stat just came out, and I'm not the first one to bring it up by any means. And
this is all you, baby. This is all you. You got.
I believe him and Aaron Jones led the league in touches inside the 5-yard line or some shit. And David Montgomery had 7 touchdowns, and Aaron Jones had 19. So take that for what it's worth. The Bears fucking sucked inside the 5 when they were giving the ball to David Montgomery, but Mitch the bitch is gone. Nick Foles that's his job. It's Nick Foles' job day one. They didn't bring this guy in for no reason to pay him $20 million or whatever. Mitch the bitch, they did not pick up his option in the 5th or for his 5th season. So this guy's as good as gone. They're going to ride with Nick Foles. Nagy came out and said he couldn't even install his whole offense for Trubisky. Nick Foles, they have history. He's going to be able to come in there, open up the offense, open up the red zone, and David Montgomery is a stud because nobody can put their hands on this dude and get him down with one guy. He's not going to be elite like a Christian McCaffrey in the pass game like Jordan brought up. He's not going to be that that PPR monster. That's going to be the Tariq Cohen show for the Bears. But if I'm looking for a guy that smells of 1,210 touchdowns, that's David Montgomery, and that's a top 20 back every day of the week. 1,200 total and 10 touchdowns. Give me David motherfucking Montgomery. I have him as my RB17. If you're calling him RB24, I think that is ridiculous right now. This guy's going to step into volume. He's going to score more touchdowns. The offense is going to be better. Give me David Montgomery. I like him in his second season.
I am 100% in line with you, bro.
So again, I hear everything you guys are saying, and David Montgomery's coming off the board as the 27th running back. There's a guy that's being drafted 5 spots later, or 5 picks later at the running back position that I kind of like just as much, and it's Jordan Howard. Kind of has all of the same things that you guys were talking about. He has the opportunity. He's going to be the number 1 back. And it's funny because I'm pretty sure Montgomery's the guy that got brought in to replace Howard, but I just think Howard's a better player. He has shown his ability to play when healthy. Granted, health is always a big risk for him. But, man, if you are digging through the trash heap for running backs in this range, I like the upside of Howard, and he's my sleeper pick here.
All right. I think he's going to be a solid floor play. I don't when these Dolphins get into losing game scripts, I think that might be an issue. But really, they don't have a passing down back on that team.
And here's what I'll say is I think the Dolphins have a much better chance of not always playing from behind than what the Bears do. I think the game script will actually favor Jordan Howard's situation, whereas I think the Bears might be the worst fucking team in the league next year. Just saying. They're going to be awful.
Okay.
Damn. That's harsh, man.
Sorry, Travis Sumter. You know I love you.
The worst? You seen that Jets roster?
Whew. I mean, man, like I get it, but
hey, all right,
the
prepare
Jets
to be shocked. Prepare to be shocked, boys.
Holy shit! You did not just say that.
What? About 1 month ago, we picked division winners. Who do you think I had winning the NFC North?
NFC, you have the Bears.
I got the Bears going 10-6 and winning the NFC North because of their top 5 defense, because of Nick Foles, that boy David Montgomery. We love Allen Robinson. I see the Packers taking a fade back. The Vikings and the Bears, I think Detroit's probably going to be one of the worst teams in the NFC. The NFC's loaded, y'all. NFC is 7-8 Super Bowl contenders for real. I'm not saying the Bears are up there as a Super Bowl contender, but in that division, with the Packers taking a step back, I see that top 5 defense with a better quarterback. They went 8-8 last year with Mitch Trubisky. I mean, this is not a team that went 6-10 or 5-11. They went 8-8. Khalil Mack's there. Eddie fucking Jackson, Roquan Smith. Man, they got that D is there in its top 5, and they're ready to get after the passer.
So all good points, man. And you said it, good defense. They got Nick Foles. They got a solid running game. Sounds a whole lot like the 2019 Jaguars to me, who were absolutely
they didn't have Khalil Mack flexing.
I mean, man, but the Jaguars D coming into 2019, you can't sleep on them. They may not have Khalil Mack, but not a lot of fucking teams have a Khalil Mack. He's one of the 2 to 3 best defensive players in the league, in my opinion. And maybe I am being a little bit harsh on those Bears. I'll say that. But I do think the Miami Dolphins win more games than the Chicago Bears this season. And I don't think there's a way in hell that the Bears win that North, man. I could more easily see them finishing last than first.
You drink beer, I got a case of beer on it. On the Bears win more games than the Dolphins.
I will see your case of beer, and I will also raise you a hat because we bet hats around here, and Joey gets free beer out the ass. So, I mean, you might need to cut that, but Joey's got you, baby. You need that beer, so hat bet right here.
I DM'd you my address, man. Come on.
Yeah, baby.
All right, yeah, we can trade hats and cases of beer. I'm down, man. The Bears, people are sleeping on the Bears. This is a team that is 20-12 the last 2 years with Mitchell fucking Trubisky and Chase Daniel playing quarterback. Nick Foles, even though he doesn't really make anybody excited, the dude's a Super Bowl MVP.
I
You
think
can't
Mitch
take that shit
Trubisky-
away from him. He outgunned the GOAT. Nick Foles can play football. I'm sorry. The team doesn't really excite you on the outside other than Allen Robinson. Anthony Miller really needs to step up. Anthony Miller really has to step up to be a solid number 2. They got like 12 tight ends or some shit. I don't know. I love Tariq Cohen and I love David Montgomery, and this team can play some defense, and that equals wins in my book.
Okay. I ain't going to fight you. You wrong, but I ain't going to fight you about it either.
I love
We good.
it, man. I love to argue.
Hell yeah.
Oh, I do too. I do too. Hey, who you got winning the NFC East? Just curious.
Dallas. I got
My man.
Dallas and Philly sliding in with a wild card.
Fuck Philly. All right, moving on. Who else we got at this running back position?
Have you named your running back yet? Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
baby. I'm pretty sure
All
I
right,
did.
so where is Ronald Jones being drafted right now? Because I currently have him at 26. I know that's not a guy that's going to win you a shit ton of weeks and all of that, but he was last year. I don't even want to look at the stats because typically I'm looking at what I see with my eyeballs, and this guy did look good. He's gained 8 pounds of quotations. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see my fucking quotations, but 8 pounds of muscle. This is a team that everyone's getting super hyped over the passing game, and I just think that he is going to be able to run the ball efficiently with the weapons there. I think he looked great last year in the limited role that he did have. Do you guys still think Peyton Barber is going to do anything? No, because he's not on the fucking team anymore. They go out and draft Keyshawn Vaughn, who is, he might be a third down guy, but Peyton Barber's the guy that can get it done between the 20s. He had bad touchdown luck last year. He didn't score a lot, but this is a guy that he runs with elusiveness. I liked him in the passing game as well. I just think he's being undervalued, and right now I have him at running back 26. So where's he being drafted at? He's damn well into the 30s, I know.
Yeah, nothing special. And I don't know. You know, I'm not a big Ronald Jones truther myself. How you feel about that Ronald Jones pick, Zach?
You know what? I'm actually surprised by his ADP because I felt I was high on him. I really did. And I have him in my mid to low 30s. And I thought I was going to be a little bit high on him. And his ADP looks like it's 30 on Fantasy Pros on PPR League. And I was a little stunned by it, but it makes complete sense. He can't play third downs. That was the problem last year. He cannot pass pro. For whatever reason, he can't understand how to pick up a fucking blitz. I'm not sure why. He didn't have to do that at USC, I guess. Maybe that's why they didn't win. But this dude is like 220 pounds with 4.4 speed. I mean, he's in like the top 15 in the whole league with just maybe talent and speed and size combo. But maybe a mental issue. He couldn't block last year for Arian, so he wasn't on the field as much as he should have. He still ended up with 1K total, 6 touchdowns, and really quickly, I'm gonna go through his yards per game throughout the season. Week 1, he had 93 total yards. Week 2, he had 9. Week 3, 121, 82, 56, 10, 52, 82, 106, 14, 67, 8, 59, 49, and then he ended the season with 109 and 116. What the fuck, Bruce Arians? Anytime this dude actually balled out, he wasn't in your starting lineup because he wasn't consistent enough because he wasn't on the field. But it's Tom Brady. He comes into the fold. Jameis Winston isn't there throwing 30 picks, making them having to throw the ball so much. We've seen 2 down backs explode in a Tom Brady offense. Remember, LeGarrette Blount never played a third down in his life, was a top 12 back because he scored 18-something touchdowns. I'm not calling for an 18-touchdown season by any means. I think he's the first and second down back in Tampa. I think he's the goal line back. And just with that fact and that offense, that could be 10 touchdowns easy. And I think he's a flex play almost every single week. Now, if Keyshawn Vaughn comes out week 1, gets 20 touchdowns, and Ronald Jones only gets 7, or not 20 touchdowns, 20
They're
touches.
gonna win like a motherfucker.
Yeah, man. Then Keyshawn Vaughn won that job. I don't think so. I was all over Keyshawn Vaughn from Vanderbilt. He's nice. He's a nice guy. He'd probably, invite him to Thanksgiving. I don't think he's Ronald Jones type talent. I think he's the more talented back's going to play in that win now offense.
And that's Ronald Jones for you.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I love being agreed with. Now, I'm not calling for him to be a superstar either, but I'm saying at the running back 35 where he's being drafted, that's a value.
It really is. And the couple players I have right above him, like Marlon Mack, DeAndre Swift, I think I could take him or leave him. Like, he could go anywhere right there, and I wouldn't be mad at it either way because they're all players with a ton of upside. And when you're talking about the 30s in your running back rankings, you throw a dart and hope that they reach their ceiling. And if Ronald Jones' ceiling, say something happens to Keyshawn Vaughn, talk about some ceiling. And that offense, man, that could be a ton of fantasy production.
Hell yeah. So another one that I really like and I never thought I would draft this fucking guy again, but man, I kind of think the stars might be aligning, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give him a shot this year. And if it doesn't pan out this year, I'm never touching him again as long as I live. But
wait, can I guess? Can I guess?
You can.
I can guess. Oh fuck! Now I gotta guess.
You can both guess. You both get one.
He's burned you before. He has one last chance. That means he's going to get volume. Darius Geis.
Nope. Ooh. Joey, you got a guess?
I do have a guess, but let me look real quick. He burned you before.
He's burned everybody before. He burned a lot of motherfuckers the last couple of years, specifically.
Oh, shit. Just tell us, man.
Baby, I'm talking about David Johnson, the grossest pick in any draft, former #1 overall fantasy selection, man. He used to be the guy. I get it. It's not 2016. But Carlos Hyde fucking put up good numbers last season in this Houston offense, and I would like to think David Johnson's at least as good as that guy, right? So I think all of the vacated carries from Hyde being gone, as well as the vacated targets from DeAndre Hopkins being gone, and the fact that Bill O'Brien's a fucking idiot and traded DeAndre Hopkins for this guy, so I feel like he's going to have to force feed him targets and carries just to make himself look right. Give me David Johnson as the 21st running back off the board all damn day. I'd rather have him than Le'Veon. I'd rather have him than Melvin Gordon. I'd rather have him than Chris Carson. Rather have him than, a lot of guys. So I think at his ADP, he's a smash play this year.
Yeah, he's a 22nd running back off the board right now. I currently have him at number 20, so he is showing up as a value for me as well.
Yep. I have him at 17.
Damn,
what you think about that, Zach?
I don't want to come on here and disagree with shit, but
yeah, disagree with it, baby. Let's go.
I can't get behind it, man. I was watching tape on him. I swear this motherfucker was in slow mo. I was like, is it Back to the Future? What's going on? And yeah, he's gonna, like, on paper, step into a scenario where, Deshaun Watson, DeAndre Hopkins is gone. They need a player. Bill O'Brien doesn't want to look like a fucking idiot with a butt chin, but he does. I can't buy it for one reason, man, and I think he lost it. I just don't think he has that juice running through him no more. And I don't know, maybe he can come back and prove it. But last year, there wasn't one point in the season that I seen a guy that was a top echelon running back on tape. It just did not happen. Now, was he banged up for something possibly the whole season we didn't know? I'm not sure. I'm not a doctor. I just play one on TV on the side. But no, I don't know shit. So health-wise, I don't know. I don't know if this guy's healthy. But what I do know, Carlos Hyde did have some production last year. And everybody's like, well, David Johnson's going to come in there and be this big PPR back that he was in Arizona when he was right. Deshaun doesn't throw it to the running backs for some reason. I just don't know whatever he does. Duke Johnson's one of the best pass-catching running backs in the league, and he only had 44 receptions last year. Didn't make much sense. I thought Duke was going to come in there and ball on third downs. I'm not trusting the tape in the physical ability of David Johnson right now, even though he's going to be flooded with volume.
Got it.
Duke Johnson's one of the best running backs between the tackles as well.
Yeah, whatever. Fuck Duke Johnson. Anyway, you guys
be cool.
can
Be cool, man. Come on.
I know. Miami truther. I get it. And full disclaimer, I don't expect David Johnson to ever regain his 2016 form. You know, I don't think he's a top 5 smash play. What I'm saying is I think there's a very good chance he finishes as a top 20 running back just based off of volume alone. And I'm going to say this. Yeah, he probably lost it, baby. I think nothing you said I disagree with. I watched the same tape as you did, and he looked like a pile of shit. But you know what? I've also watched a lot of game on Carlos Hyde throughout his career, and I don't think that dude ever had it. So, I mean, if he can produce in that offense, I think David Johnson will also produce in that offense.
I got him just a tier down. I have him as my RB30. So I have him a little bit more of a – I have a more of a flex play than a RB2. But I do want to hash on one thing you said, Jordan, my man.
What's up, baby?
I love you, man. But David Johnson over Melvin Gordon? You're gonna have to sell me on that one, my man. Sell me on that. Sell me this pen. Sell me the David Johnson pen.
Hey, write your name. No. Anyway, you want to talk about Melvin fucking Gordon, baby? Like, I get it, but Philip Lindsay's still in that offense, man, and they've got fucking weapons galore, and it's a new offense for him, and he's had injury history in his past. He's going to a new team. You don't see a lot of running backs go from team A to team B and produce at the same rate that they did previously. I'm fading the hell out of him this year. I wouldn't be surprised if he had 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns. You know, I think he has, you know, a decent floor, but I just think the ceiling is very limited.
What team did David Johnson play for last year?
Arizona. He did, and again, I don't think he will ever go back to the 2016 form. No. But
I'm just giving you shit, brother.
It's good.
The volume's there, and if I could see anybody that ends up with like 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns, maybe it is David Johnson if he doesn't get hurt. Like he might average 3.5 yards per carry and score 6 touchdowns. But does that ever score in the top 20 RBs in a week? I'm not so sure. I think Melvin Gordon comes in and talk about Drew Lock having everything around him in Denver. Jerry fucking Jeudy. You guys are from Bama, or I know Joey's from Bama. Jerry Jeudy, are you kidding me? He puts people on skates in that slot.
Yeah, he does.
Sutton is a fucking alpha on the outside. Noah Fant, dude, he's like a next Antonio Gates with the physical ability.
Okay,
now, I'm not calling him a Hall of Famer, but Drew Lock has everything in front of him, and he has Melvin Gordon behind him. Philip Lindsay's a nice little piece, and he was everybody's little fucking darling as a free agent running back, and he showed out. And I'm not sure why they went out and got Melvin Gordon. Obviously, they thought they needed more of a power runner, even though Philip Lindsay really is an inside runner, and I'm not really sure what they were doing with him, but Melvin Gordon, even if he does share the carries 65-35 with Philip Lindsay, I see this offense scoring some points and Melvin Gordon being in the 12 to 1,300 total yard. This guy can catch the ball. Melvin Gordon can catch the ball on the outside. Philip Lindsay really hasn't been utilized as a receiving back. So I think Gordon's going to get the third down rolls. He's going to get the power rolls in the goal line situations. So I see 1,300, 1,400 total yards and 10 touchdowns pretty easy. I got Melvin Gordon up there at RB17. So that's a big difference on the Zach board. But we all know I could be wrong.
We all can be wrong, baby. We all trying to predict the future. The weatherman don't know what's happening. We don't either, but we –
And for what it's worth, Zach, I got Melvin Gordon one spot lower than I got David. So it's not like I hate the guy, but I think David Johnson's being slept on a little bit.
The volume that volume's going to be nasty for him if he can be healthy.
Let's talk about some wide receivers that are being slept on a little bit. I got to start this shit off with the 32nd wide receiver being drafted right now. I got this guy at number 15, and I just don't see what is wrong. Why is he being drafted so low? Michael Gallup, dude. We got 81 targets from Randall Cobb gone. We got 81 targets from Jason Witten gone. Yeah, they drafted a wide receiver who is possibly the best wide receiver in this class, but he's a fucking rookie. You look at the ceiling of top rookies minus the outliers, dog, you're maybe looking at 65 catches, 900 yards, right? So, like, where are all these extra targets going to, man? Number one coverage is going to be draped all over Amari Cooper. Gallup was a beast last year, and
Gallup was better than Cooper last season.
On a points per game basis, I think you are right. I think that he is going to continue this trend, and I love him. He's got more skills than just get open in the short area like Amari Cooper. This guy's great on the sideline. He can get deep, great at 50-50 contested balls and all that. I got him at wide receiver 15. The opportunity is here for an offense that's passed for 5,000 yards last year. And why the fuck are we drafting him as the 32nd wide receiver off the board? It makes no sense to me.
I'm going to tell you why right now, baby. And this is coming from a diehard True Blues Cowboys fan. It's because people are way overhyped on Amari Cooper, and people's expectations are a little through the roof for CeeDee Lamb. I couldn't agree with that more. I love Michael Gallup. I think he's the best wide receiver on Dallas's roster in 2020. I expect CeeDee Lamb will eventually overtake him, but I think Gallup's fucking good, man. And so Zach, you asked us earlier how long we've been doing this, and so I started off as a fan, man. I want a Todd Gurley autograph photo, and just listened and did a guest spot in Thanksgiving of last season, and I just hyped up Mike Gallup. I love the guy, and I think he did a lot to prove me right last year. How you feel about Gallup?
Dude, the skill's there, absolutely. And at the end of last year, it did seem like he was the more consistent wide receiver on that Dallas Cowboys offense. And we talk about the Randall Cobb absence and the Jason Witten absence, and it's all real. But I don't see Dak Prescott coming close to 4,900 total passing yards. That was ridiculous. That wasn't their game, and they didn't win. For this team to win, they're going to have to focus a little bit more on game control. They were just throwing the ball too damn much, and it got themselves into trouble. And the wide receivers are there. There's only one fucking football. We got Zeke catching 70 footballs, Amari Cooper on the outside, bring in CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup. It's almost going to be now. It's going to be who doesn't get targets today. One of them is not going to get targeted. Yep. Is it Gallup? Is it CeeDee Lamb? Is it Amari Cooper? And guess what, y'all? I'm fading them all to a certain extent. Now, Michael Gallup is the one that is criminally getting faded, and I do not agree with this 32nd overall ADP. I got him at around 27, 28. So not too far off, but I think he's a wide receiver 3 every week. I think Amari Cooper is a wide receiver 2 every week, and I think CeeDee Lamb is a flex option every single week. None of these guys are going to be a wide receiver 1. At the end of the year, Michael Gallup could have the most receiving yards on the team. Amari Cooper could have the most receptions, and CeeDee Lamb could have the most touchdowns. That could easily happen. That team is loaded on the outside. I see them running the ball more, even though, Zeke had the carries, but they're not going to throw for 5K a year. That's not Dak. That's not that team. That's why they didn't win last year. More ball control, and I think Dak's going to be more closer to 4,200 passing yards, maybe around the same amount of touchdowns. The talent's out there, but, Michael Gallup could have a 2-target game followed by a 2-touchdown game. It's just how consistent is he going to be? I think he's a wide receiver 3, and he is being faded a little bit too much.
So let me ask you this. Gun to your head right now, who finishes as the top-ranked fantasy wide receiver for the Cowboys?
Well, I'm obviously going to go off my expert big board that I created myself. I have Amari Cooper as the 18th wide receiver. I have Michael Gallup as the 27th wide receiver, and CeeDee Lamb in the high 40s. So with a gun to my head, I say it's Amari Cooper scores the most fantasy points for the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay. I think it's going to be Gallup. I think Joey would probably agree with you. It's going to be Cooper. I think Cooper's going to get all the opportunity in the world. I just think Gallup is the more talented, better player. But I'm done talking about the Cowboys for now. I do that enough. Who do we got next on this board? I had somebody queued up. Who the fuck was it? Oh, I got it. Here we go. Just edit that little bit out for me, Joey Fickle.
I will not. It stays, and I'm just gonna process the shit and publish it. That's it. There ain't gonna be no, unless one of y'all drop a word that definitely should not being said, and I'm not talking about the F word. I will not edit this.
So I'm looking at a wide receiver who has a different quarterback this year, but he's finished as a top 12 wide receiver the last 3 seasons. He's been a number 1 wide receiver for the majority of his career. And, man, he's getting drafted at the 19th spot overall on the wide receivers.
Can I guess?
Oh, I know you can guess this one. I bet Zach can guess this one, too.
It's Robinson.
No.
He got a new quarterback. He's a top. Okay, who you got?
3 straight years as a top 12 wide receiver. New quarterback, has been a wide receiver one the majority of his career. No, baby. I'm talking about Keenan Allen, and I don't give a damn if it's Tyrod Taylor, if it's Justin Herbert, or if it's the third string guy throwing him the football. To me, Keenan Allen is a really fucking good wide receiver. I think his floor is going to be about 1,200 yards and 6 touchdowns. I think his ceiling can be even greater than that. I think he's the only option in town. I don't see as big of a fall for Keenan Allen as I think most of the fantasy community does.
I.e. Joey Fickle.
Probably Zack Zander, judging by the reaction I got. But at the end of the day, man, everybody's so in love with Amari Cooper, and he's such a great route runner and blah blah blah. I would fucking take Keenan Allen all day, every day in real football, as far as pure ability goes, over that guy. I think he's a better route runner, and I think he's a better football player. And I fucking hate Amari Cooper. I just need to get that off my chest again.
I believe you. So, and I'm not as much as my face, I guess, made a look that you didn't think I liked it. Keenan Allen's my 17th wide receiver, and Amari Cooper's my 18th. So if we're talking 2020 fantasy, I'm gonna lean towards Keenan Allen a little bit. Come on, Zach. So, and it's because of target share. I'm scared of those Dallas wide receivers. I just am. He's going to be on a team that's probably not going to be a playoff team in the LA Chargers. And I'm not thinking Tyrod Taylor is going to be the quarterback very long. I live around Cleveland, even though I'm not a Cleveland Browns fan by any means. I mean, he held Baker Mayfield down for about 2.5 weeks, and then they put Bacon, and he was shipped out. So Tyrod Taylor is not making anybody a wide receiver 1. Now, will Justin Herbert, I love that kid, but I'm not so sure how much they'll open up the offense for him. So instead of being wide receiver 12, Keenan Allen is 17 on my list, and that would be a fade. I don't think he has the upside he did with Phillip Rivers, and it's a little bit of a question mark. He's never had anybody else really throw him a pass. So he's not a speed guy, so he runs really precise routes. Sometimes when a new quarterback comes in there, they're not on the same page. And, Keenan Allen's a baller. I don't know why I can't say his fucking name. He's a baller. He can play. But I just fade him a little bit more of a mid-tier wide receiver 2 instead of the usual wide receiver 1 he's been.
Boy, I got him as a high-end wide receiver 3. I got him at 25.
Ooh.
1 spot behind Devontae Parker. I just wanted to throw that out there because I
will hat bet you on any stat that you want to throw out there.
We've already made that hat bet.
Let's make it again, baby.
Let me just move on to my next guy here. We've taken way too long. Odell fucking Beckham Jr., dog. I'm going to go back to the Browns. I was on Baker Mayfield. Let me talk about Odell Beckham Jr. Here's what I got to say. He is a top 3 wide receiver in this league. He is being drafted as the number 16. I have him at number 9. That's my analysis. That's it.
Yeah, I think last season was the anomaly. I don't think it's going to continue to be what we will see out of Odell Beckham Jr. You know, I get down and I love that pick. For the sake of time, I do want to throw one more out there on the wide receiver side real quick. We talked about Keenan Allen at 19 and how I thought he was being underdrafted. There's a guy even lower, and I think you're going to get down with this one, Mr. Zander, and you've got to as well, Mr. Fickle. But Cortland Sutton is being drafted as the 24th wide receiver overall right now, according to Fantasy Pros. And I think that dude checks all the boxes that I just said with Keenan Allen and has a ceiling that goes monumentally higher. I've got him ranked above Keenan Allen also. But I think at the 24th spot, I think he's an absolute stud in that range.
I have him at number 20. If he's being drafted at 24, that's a value for me. So there you go.
I got him at 17. Or not 17, 16. Right in front of Keenan Allen, right in front of Amari Cooper. Let's talk about a tier that's really close. I mean, that is those guys can pop. Now, Jerry Jeudy, I think, cuts into his role. It does. Jerry Jeudy's he's going to pop because this dude gets open. Watch the tape, man. This guy gets 3, 4, 5 yards open down the field with a precise route tree. If Drew Lock can play, you're going to find out day one that Jerry Jeudy can play, and he can get open and you watch the fuck out. That's the thing that's going to hold Cortland Sutton down more in the wide receiver 2 category instead of possibly, I mean, he could be a top 8 wide receiver if they didn't draft Jerry Jeudy with that first round pick. So they're going to be more or less co-number ones, and that doesn't make me excited in fantasy football. Only like Peyton Manning and 2 other quarterbacks can ever support 2 number 1 wide receivers. They usually end up fading into wide receiver 2 categories. So Cortland Sutton's nice. I don't see him catching 100 balls. I see him possibly getting 10 touchdowns, but I see him as being a little touchdown dependent.
Yeah, me too. Is a guy that is a big-bodied contestant catch type of guy. I know he's got all of the skills, but like you said earlier, there's one fucking ball, and you can't hype up Melvin Gordon, and you can't hype up Jerry Jeudy, and you can't hype up Cortland Sutton all at the same time. Just can't happen. There is one ball. This is an offense that I do think struggles. I don't believe in Drew Lock yet. He was inconsistent. He had a very low ADOT last year in the limited sample that we had. Now he is set up for success, and so are these wide receivers. But until I see that, I don't believe it because I don't believe in Drew Lock. That's my thing.
Yo, can I throw a couple out there?
Yeah, please.
A couple people I think are criminally underrated.
Who?
A couple people that are just criminally underrated. I'm going to start with that boy, Darius Slayton. Coming out of Auburn, was a 5th-round pick on a run-first team with Jarrett Stidham. We've seen Jarrett Stidham fall in the draft. Darius Slayton fell in the draft also. We're talking a 6'2", 200-pound kid that can run in the low 4.4s. He flashed last year, had a couple multi-touchdown games. He actually had 3 2-touchdown games. I mean, I'd have to stat check that. How many wide receivers last year had 3 2-touchdown games? I guarantee it's not over 10.
Yeah, we're both with you on
I fucking guarantee
we
that. Now the thing of it is how are him and Daniel Jones going to move forward? This guy's getting drafted as the 42nd wide receiver, the 110th overall player. I mean, we're talking 9th, 10th round, and somebody his rookie season had like 800 yards and 8 touchdowns. I mean, he's an uptick for me all day long. And I think you guys do agree Darius Slayton is value right there. Now, another guy who I have the feeling you guys aren't going to love my take right here.
Fucking hate it, bro. You're stupid.
I love
Christian
it.
Kirk, slot receiver for the Arizona Air Raid motherfucking Cardinals, is going to get high-end volume. I don't care if DeAndre Hopkins is there. Good, great. Put a fucking Hall of Famer out there and let Christian Kirk get single coverage in the slot. This guy played at Texas A&M with Kyler Murray. He's the perfect slot receiver in his third season. This guy is nasty with the ball in his hands. He's got a great route tree, good hands. He has bad Steph Curry ankles that he needs to stay on the goddamn field. If this guy stays on the field, plays 13-plus games, I'm guaranteeing 75 receptions because it's the air raid offense. It's what they do. Coach Kingsbury came in there to throw the fuck out of the ball. He's got his quarterback. He's got an alpha wide receiver. He doesn't have to go play on the outside. He's amazing in the slot. Put another Hakeem Butler, Andy Isabella, Kenyon Drake. This fucking team's running all over the field. I cannot wait to see it. Christian Kirk is a player at the 39th ranked wide receiver. Give me him all day at that ADP. I got him in my 20s. I got both those guys in my low 20s.
Where do you have
And not
Hopkins?
low 20s, my high 20s. I got them at 28 and 29 respectively.
Where do you have Hopkins?
Hopkins is my third ranked wide receiver, right behind Devontae Adams and, of course, Michael Thomas.
Okay, where do you have Kyler Murray?
Kyler Murray, man, him and Deshaun Watson are like tied for my QB3. One day I wake up and I say Kyler's my QB3. The next day I wake up and I say Deshaun Watson is my QB3. So he's my QB3, yo. I think they're going to run the ball a little bit more with him. That's a fun team. Talk
That's
about
a
a
fun
team. Arizona Cardinals, that's going to be a must-watch every Sunday. They draft my boy Isaiah Simmons, who I thought was the most talented player on defense, but they're going to lack the defensive presence to be a contender. And like I said with Daniel Jones and Jordan brought up with Gardner Minshew, man, they're going to have to go out and just throw the ball around in the third and fourth quarter, getting some of those garbage fantasy points that, guess what? I love garbage fantasy points. Give them all to me. I love that garbage.
Hashtag Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Hashtag Blake Bortles, baby.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
all about it.
1 year with that dude.
And it's going to be hashtag Daniel Jones and possibly Kyler Murray, even though he's not someone you would consider trash by any means. Fuck
Dog,
no.
I think
Kyler Murray's
Arizona's
nasty, but he's going to have to be throwing the hell out of the ball in the third and fourth quarter because they're not going to win 10, 12 games. That's going to be a team that's going to be lucky to win 8 games.
I
And
think they're
for
gonna
the
be
record, around here, it's hashtag motherfucker Jones. So go ahead, Joey.
Yeah, motherfucker Jones. I don't even know how I recognized what you were saying because it is motherfucker Jones. But let's move on to the tight ends. Let's not talk about values here because really, is there any value at the tight end position? We don't know. But what we do know is every single year there's a late round guy that we all love. Let's just talk about the late round guys who you're trying to snatch up.
Well, I'm going to tell you, speaking of late round guys, I'm trying to snatch up. Man, I'm trying to snatch up Christian Kirk after that hot-ass take that Zack Zander just gave me, baby. That's the first time in my life I've ever given a shit about that guy. So,
Dude,
kudos to you.
last year I tried to get you to believe and you just would not hear me, man. Yes,
Yeah, no.
that was a great job, dude. Like I even warmed up a little bit to him as
That
you
was
go.
phenomenal.
I'm a motivational speaker. Let's go, man. Everybody go out and get Christian Kirk at wide receiver 39. You will not be fucking mad that you took him in the 9th round, I promise. If he's your wide receiver 4, you will not be mad. There's no fucking way. This guy will go for 80 and 1,000, and it's not. See, I don't see wide receiver 1. I'm not going to act like this dude's going to be a wide receiver 1, but he's going to be someone that's amazing at his ADP, can be very consistent in a PPR format. He doesn't have to score a ton of touchdowns because he probably won't. He might have 6 or 7. I see him being a high reception guy and very consistent when he's not fucking on the sideline with Curry ankles.
Doc, there's no fucking way he gets 7 touchdowns. I get all your other points, but the 6 or 7 touchdowns, I'm gonna move that to.
That's not. I mean, that's not 60. That's not. He's not gonna break the record. Yeah, it's 6. Darius Slayton got 6 touchdowns in 3 games.
Darius
This man,
Slayton is
13
a
games,
big-
he can get 6 touchdowns.
Yeah,
Christian
Darius
Kirk's a
Slayton's
beast.
a big-bodied, fast, down the field type.
he's taller. I wouldn't call him a big body. He's a little lean.
He's
Man needs to eat his Cheetos.
a man. I want to see him stand next to one of you or I or Jordan for that matter. But let's move on to the fucking tight ends, baby. Hey, I'm going to go ahead and let y'all know. You probably like my favorite guest that we've had on this bitch.
Ever.
Good shit, man. Good
since
shit.
Jordan
I like you guys.
You should delete that so we don't hurt feelings. But yeah, dude, you are fucking crushing it. I am thoroughly enjoying this.
I watch your guys' shit, and I'm like, you know what? And I said it earlier. I was like, man, that reminds me of me, but Southern as hell. In all respect with it, I was like, man, I like your flavor, man. I like the edge, and that's the type of football I want to hear. Some with an edge. I want to hear somebody talk. That I want to sit down and have a beer with them, not somebody with a stick in their ass.
Hell yeah.
Fucking
And when I want to
dude.
see the other, I'll watch Matthew Berry. We get it. Love you, Matthew.
Hell yeah. So let's move on to the tight ends. Who is a guy?
Man, we can't get to the tight ends, man. Nobody wants to talk about fucking tight ends.
I want to talk about a tight end.
I do too, but every time you said let's get to the tight end, something else comes up. My bad. You go. My bad.
No, you talked about Mike Gesicki earlier. Let's hear it. I want to hear it.
Mike Gesicki,
Is that your guy?
It's one of them. I loved how Joey said, it's not about the George Kittles and the Travis Kelce's and all those dudes. It's about finding that late round dart that sticks. And last year, how many guys won championships on the back of Mark Andrews in their tight end position, of Darren Waller in their tight end positions? And that's where it's at. It's not about drafting Kittle in the second or third round. That's where he's supposed to go. That's what the stats say, but your team loses an advantage on getting a running back or a wide receiver in this format. I want to find the next Darren Waller. I want to find the next Mark Andrews. Mike Gesicki is on a short list of one of those guys that can be drafted in the back end of your drafts that you look at the end of the year and you're like, holy shit, this dude's got 70 receptions for 800 yards and 7 touchdowns. And he started every week in my tight end slot, and I was fine with it. And he's going into his third year. Tight end's a hard position. You rarely see a tight end jump onto the scene their rookie year and show out. It really hasn't happened. Evan Ingram did it a couple years ago, but it really hasn't happened, including last year with Hawkinson. I mean, looking like dog shit after week 1. Noah Fant never really showed up completely. It takes tight ends a couple years. It's a hard position. He's going into his third year. We talked about your boy Ryan Fitz. Yeah, baby, Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's going to get the ball to him a little bit. I see his numbers on a little bit of an uptick, and he's being criminally underrated also, which he's basically sometimes going undrafted. I'm looking at him as the tight end 15 on the board. Average draft position, I have him above that. So I can dig with Mike Gesicki.
Okay. I love Mike Gesicki as well, man. This is a guy who is as athletic as any tight end in the NFL. I love him. However, in this situation, I'm going to look at opportunity. I'm going to say my boy Jonnu Smith. This is a guy who is up in the George Kittle area with me as far as what he can do with the ball in his hands. They use this guy in the run game. He is excellent after the catch, and I just think there's going to be a lot of opportunity there. There's A.J. Brown, Derrick Henry, and nothing else in that offense. It's A.J. Brown. It's Jonnu Smith for me as far as a late-round guy. And do I think he's going to score a ton of touchdowns? No. But you don't have to when he's being drafted as the 18th, 19th guy off the board as far as tight ends go. I don't have that number right here.
17th.
17, cool. So I was close. I wing this shit. But, yeah, Jonnu Smith is a fucking athletic beast, and I love him. I love his opportunity. Like, he's going to step into this offense with a great run game and Derrick Henry that feeds off of play action. That's why A.J. Brown was so successful last year. I'm all in on Jonnu Smith. I got him in my top 10, and I can't see a scenario where he's not a top 12 guy. I can't see it. The opportunity is too great, and he's too athletic and and he's a beast with the ball in his hands.
So for my list, I have Jonnu Smith as my number 13. I have Mike Gesicki as my number 14. So they're right in range. But really, this round or this range of tight ends is where I'm going to get most of my tight ends this season. I am a guy that says, fuck the tight end. Like, give me the streamers. Give me the week-to-week struggle with the tight ends, man. So I'm looking at guys like Jonnu Smith, Mike Gesicki, my boy Blake Jarwin. My very first True Serum episode, I fucking just kissed that dude's ass. And I said, Jason Witten needs to get the hell out of town. That just happened. So I think Blake Jarwin's another one who can have some big weeks. Kind of a sneaky guy, especially to start the season. I'd like to see if Greg Olsen has a game or two left in him. Now, I don't expect Greg Olsen to start 16 games and be Greg Olsen of old, but I bet Greg Olsen can bring it for 2, 3, 4 weeks with Seattle. Other guys, Eric Ebron, if Big Ben can stay healthy, I think he has a chance to catch some touchdowns for Pittsburgh. But all in all, fuck the tight ends. I'm just saying.
I think Greg Olsen his range of outcomes is tight end 30 and tight end 5. We've seen a super unathletic guy come in last year at the beginning of the season, a guy who's probably done now. Just a old-looking, super unathletic guy. Will Dissly comes in. They're fucking featuring the tight end in that offense in the beginning of the year. Who's to say Greg Olsen can't be a feature for a game here, a game there? They're going to feature the tight end. That's what Seattle likes to do. They're not. I like it. That's why I'm saying I like it. I think Greg Olsen, he's got a range of outcomes from top 5 to, all the way to 30. So
we saw Jason Witten. What did he take? 2 years off to do Monday Night Football and almost ruin it?
I think it was just one. It just felt like 2.
I get excited, man. So, I'm all about Greg Olsen. He went to Miami, so he's one of my favorite players of all time from the year. He really is, man. And I love that you said Eric Ebron, guy that caught 13 touchdowns a couple years ago. Now, Big Ben needs a big body. He's got all these little guys. Juju Smith-Schuster is not a jump ball guy, even though he's 6'1". He's an after-the-catch guy. Deontay Johnson is a slot guy, 100%. Chase Claypool comes into the mix, the rookie. But we don't know with the COVID bullshit and, how much him and Big Ben are going to be able to work together. Eric Ebron has put up numbers before in the NFL. He was a top 10 pick at the tight end position, so he has talent. I'm all about Eric Ebron's ADP. I love that you brought up him. Now, I want to talk about somebody that I guess the ADP has caught up to. It's kind of like Ronald Jones. I'm a little surprised that everybody is as high on him as I am, and that's Hayden Hurst. I see a more talented tight end than Austin Hooper. I see somebody that is a much better athlete than Austin Hooper. And I see somebody that just got beat out by maybe a better player in his draft class in Mark Andrews. Hayden Hurst can play fucking ball. He was a first-round pick for a reason. He can play ball. Mark Andrews is just an elite player at that position that just got ahead of him in Baltimore. But he goes to Atlanta. What a super move that was. They let Austin Hooper bounce, get overpaid by Cleveland, $10 million a year or some shit. And they trade Hayden Hurst. They send it, all right, Baltimore, what up? Here's a third-round pick. Give us our new tight end. And I expect him to walk into Austin Hooper numbers. I really do. If he's healthy, that offense has 11 first-round picks right now. Jordan, did you know that? 11 first-round fucking picks on the Atlanta Falcons. All 5 offensive linemen, Todd Gurley, Matt Ryan, Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones, Hayden Hurst. 11 first-round picks on
That's
Atlanta.
Awesome. I didn't realize that.
On the Atlanta Falcons.
I said it before.
On the Atlanta Falcons offense, 11 first-round picks. And I truly believe Hayden Hurst can come in and have a 2019 Austin Hooper season. He's going as tight end 10. So I guess everybody is kind of on the same boat I am. But if you end up with Hayden Hurst as your starting tight end all season, I believe you're going to be pretty happy.
That's one I cannot get behind. and it's not because
Well, you missed my spiel. You're walking around doing other shit.
you don't know what I was doing. You don't know my life. Shit. Maybe I had to do something very, very important, but I can't get behind the Hayden Hurst. I will be listening to this again. I'll probably listen to it 2 times or 3 times, just like you should. If you're watching on YouTube, you know I'm fucking pointing at you, bitch.
Ring
But
that bell.
bang that motherfucking bell.
Slap your dick on it or something.
I'm
Just
gonna
subscribe, baby.
I'm gonna put my dick in. Where are we at? I just don't
Talking
like,
about Hayden Hurst, baby.
I just don't like Hayden Hurst. And the whole reason is because he got beat out by a guy who I don't really believe in Andrews all that much. I believe he's a product of the system that he's played in. I think he's also super athletic, but I don't think that he is as good as Austin Hooper, and I kind of fucking hate Austin Hooper. So, I mean, we're expecting a guy that we've never seen come into an NFL game and be a factor to come in and be a top 10 guy. When I see it, I'll believe it. But as of right now, man, I haven't seen anything to make me think that other than situation. That's it.
I like his opportunity. I don't like how far he's risen up the draft board. So kind of what you were saying, Zach, obviously he's a first round talent. He was drafted in the first round for a reason. And he's in a great fucking situation. Like, where better to fall than Atlanta if you're a tight end? But I feel like he's moved too far up that draft board for my liking, mostly because I love the bottom feeders. Give me the bottom feedingest ass tight end you can find, Give me Tyler Eifert in Jacksonville for a game or two. Like, I will take him.
I feel you. Can we all just agree that the top 2 to 3 tight ends are going to be, there for you? But that every single year, the rounds 4, 5, and 6 and 7 tight ends, those middle round tight ends, they always disappoint. Can we be in agreement there? Last year,
OJ Howard,
Evan Ingram, they were in this same range. Hunter Henry was in that range. The middle round tight ends always disappoint. And to me, the only reason to go top 2nd, 3rd round tight ends is if you got 15 fucking teams and you ain't got time to manage all them damn streamers. That's it. That's the only fucking reason I want to draft a tight end. Unless you're in an 8-team league and you just want that advantage. That's it for me. Otherwise, I'm round 14 guy. That's me.
I mean, I don't – if I see value there, I'll take the value. I mean, if Darren Waller's there at a stupid spot, I mean, I'm talking 8th, 9th round, then I'm not – all right, I'll jump on a Darren Waller at the exact moment that he needs to be. Are you fucking kidding me? A 70, 80 catch guy with 1,000 yards last year? Give me Darren Waller at the right spot. But I'm with you. I don't spend a ton of my juice on tight ends. I go ahead and wait. I try to find last year's Mark Andrews. I try to find last year's Darren Waller. And I think it's going to be the Gesicki's, the Eric Ebrons, and the Hayden Hursts of the world, even though you might have to pay for Mr. Hayden Hurst. Hey, Joey, my man. Go ask the Buffalo Bills. I know you're in contact with them all the time, right? Go ask the Buffalo Bills what they think of Mr. Hayden Hurst that put on an 80-yard touchdown on their ass. I mean, he's got almost 4.5 speed. He almost moves like a fucking wide receiver. I think you need to respect his athleticism a little bit. I think this guy did get beat out by a better player in Mark Andrews.
I think he got
Mark
beat
Andrews
out
can
because
ball, y'all. Mark Andrews can fucking play ball.
I think he got beat out because he doesn't have it up here. He's a fucking ding dong. That's it. I know you said earlier it takes a while for the tight end to bust out, and it does. This changes everything. When you change teams, like now you got a new offense. Like if Mark Andrews wasn't in Baltimore last year, maybe it would have been him, because I do believe in his athleticism and his almost 4.5 speed, who can play like a wide receiver. I get all that, dog. I get it 100%. I fucking loved Hayden Hurst coming out of college. I did. But you ain't going to tell me a guy that never played successfully in the NFL outside of a one game where he scored an 80-yard touchdown because he got behind the defense and just outran them, that he's going to come into a new fucking offense at a position, at the tight end position, where it's difficult to learn. It's difficult because there's so many different assignments that you got to do. That's why it takes 4 years for a tight end to break out. He's starting over when he goes to Atlanta, baby. He's starting over. He's got to learn. He's a year behind. That's the way I look at it.
I mean, it took a couple years for Austin Hooper to do anything there. He didn't really have a season before last year. But, let's think of Baltimore. Run heavy. They have their tight ends stick their fucking head into D tackles and D ends and linebackers and all this bullshit because you're blocking for Lamar Jackson and Mark Ingram. And then you could go down to Atlanta in the NFC South. They're not playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the score's 35-38. And Hayden Hurst is running free against linebackers, and he's not doing all this bullshit blocking and everything. It's what that guy's made for. He's not going to be a Gronk type blocker. He's going to be a good route runner who can win against linebackers. You can hit him in the seam, and if you get the ball in his hands, like I said, go ask Buffalo. He beat their corners to the sideline for 80 yards. So the guy's got some talent. Can he mesh it all together? I like the offense. Jordan brought up the just the availability in an Atlanta offense. You're going to have a ton of targets, and it's going to be a passing team.
And they're all going to go to Calvin Ridley, baby.
And who's thinking about guarding Hayden Hurst when you got Julio and Calvin Ridley in a power run game with Todd Gurley? So
I think that almost goes to Joey's point, though. It's like, yeah, fuck that guy. Let's get all these motherfuckers out here because that guy ain't gonna do nothing. But I kind of can see both sides, and for me, at the end of the day, it's just, again, man, I would rather invest that draft capital in a wide receiver that if I can get Hayden Hurst or Darius Slayton, smashing Darius Slayton all fucking day. You know what I mean?
We know how I feel. Our Christian motherfucking Kirk.
See, the whole thing is here, I get both sides of this as well. I just think that I want to fade that. I think his draft capital has gone too high. Where's he being drafted right now?
I was surprised he was tight end 10. That did surprise me.
That's too high, baby. That's too high. But I mean, do I think he'd be in the top 10? Very possible.
All right, how about this one? It might not be too hot. It might not be too cold. I think that porridge is just right.
Who is?
Okay. I'm with it. I think it's a little bit too hot myself, but I like my porridge a little bit cooler, baby. So get me that porridge that's been sitting there for a week looking like Greg Olson. I'll eat that shit all day, son.
Dog, give me that coldest porridge of all. I'm gonna throw that shit in the motherfucking microwave. A week one.
Joey, you ain't even got a microwave. You gonna throw that shit in the air fryer. Let's be real here, baby.
You're right.
All right, boys.
How long have we been recording, dog?
Not long. I could do this for hours. I
for sure.
thoroughly enjoyed this episode. I got to piss, though.
Dude, I've pissed 4 times since we've been recording. Right.
He just walks in and then starts dogging my take. And I was like, you weren't even here to hear what I said.
That was so bad.
I had to go push out some of this truth serum so I could drink some more of it. Just what makes me so honest, you know? Anyway,
man,
we got any other like late round guys that you guys just think are super values here?
Oh, dude, don't get me started. Just said we don't got all day.
Just say a name.
I get excited when I say this name. He's a rookie running back from the LA Chargers. Was my favorite sleeper running back coming into the draft because I get deep down and dirty into the draft. Joshua Kelly from UCLA. Exit Melvin Gordon. Enter Joshua Kelly. Austin Eckler is not a in-between-the-tackles guy. And why would you try to use him that way? Give Eckler 15 touches a game. There's going to be that Melvin Gordon work that's exited. It's not Justin Jackson. They tried that a little bit. It's not Justin Jackson. He's not a game changer. Joshua Kelly has 0 flaws. The only thing I thought he maybe run a 4.5 or so. He came in and run a 4.49. He's got good speed. He does everything well. He's a guy that can jump in and take his little 10 carries a game and do a lot with it. And God forbid something happens to Austin Eckler, I think Joshua Kelly can tote that rock there for him and be the bell cow. I love this dude as a very, very late round sleeper in 2020. And if any of your boys play Dynasty, I think he's someone you definitely want to look at and get at the right spot, maybe holding him in your taxi round. And I think he's a guy that can pop. He reminds me of a poor man's Kareem Hunt.
Hey, okay.
Joey loves that pick.
I ain't hate it. I didn't hate it.
Hey, that porridge is hot right there.
Yeah, it is.
Nah, that's one of the cold pours that you pour in the microwave. You pour it in the microwave, just make a big fucking mess. But yeah, I get you, man. I'm with it. But dude, once again, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you, because we know they love your ass right now.
Well, you can find me on Uncencored Football with my partners, EJ Savavik and Brad Russell. We're on all podcast platforms. I mean, I don't want to name them, or should I? No, I'm not going to name them.
Name them.
But you can find me everywhere. I mean, we're talking Google, Spotify, Apple, Spreaker, anything you want, you'll find us there, front and center. We just started in April. We already put out 16 bangers. We're going to put out another banger tonight, so find us on all podcast platforms. Check out our Facebook page. We have 965 likes. I would love to get to 1K by this week, y'all.
We can get you there tonight, I bet.
Whoever is our 1,000th like, we're going to bring onto the show if they like and do a show of their choice with us. So whoever brings in the 1K like or is the 1K like, we're going to bring you on the show and let you talk about whatever you like. Hit us up on YouTube. We have a YouTube page. We do everything, every one of our recordings, we do live. And we put the video out. We have a tight-ass intro, by the way. And check us on IG, Twitter, uncensored_FB, because someone took the shit we wanted. But either way, find us on Twitter, IG, Facebook. Is there anything else? YouTube,
here's
all
what
the
you
podcast
do.
platforms. Hey. Find me on True Serum.
Dog,
I'm drinking it.
This is what you do. Like, people are tuned out to that. Like, I didn't even understand what you were saying. So here's what you do. You type all that shit up. You send it over to me when I upload this MP file to our podcast to YouTube. When I upload it all there, I'll drop all the links there for them. So
why'd you tell me to say it?
I mean, I said
you told me to say it.
I said don't say that.
I said say it. Whatever. I listened to all of it. I loved it, bro. You were a fucking phenomenal guest.
Jordan, what's that Instagram handle he said? Exactly.
Unfilter_FB.
Uncensored.
Damn,
_FB.
I got the hard part right. I should get
Uncensored. Just type in Uncensored Football on YouTube. We're there. There's my face. Beautiful as hell.
Jordan, how many times a day you call my phone?
I don't know.
Quite a bit, right? What's my phone number? What's my phone?
Know.
Exactly. My point is fucking made. We're in the era right now where we're gonna just click shit, baby.
I don't have so many of what they call the brain cells left, so I forget little shit like that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Hey, Zack Zander, we're gonna let you close it out for us, baby. As always.
This was fun, man.
As always, this was fun. You're supposed to say, stay true.
Stay true.
Oh, I don't know. Man, you didn't put me on that. All right. As always, stay true, for sure.
That's
find me.
We will find you.
We done found you, baby. As always.
Stay true.
I hope that was as good for you as it was for me. For more where that came from, find us at truthserumfootball.com.